Why does your own house suddenly feel like a foreign country where you don't speak the language? You're walking on eggshells in a hallway you paid for, watching the woman you married become a stranger in real time. It starts with a feeling in the pit of your stomach, a glitch in the reality you thought was solid. You notice she's suddenly taking her phone into the shower, or she's laughing at jokes on a screen that she won't share with you. You aren't just becoming suspicious, you are witnessing the total invasion of the marital perimeter. You're the victim of the intuition penalty. You were a man who prided himself on being a protector, but now you've been forced to become a spy just to protect your own sanity. You're witnessing a psychological hijacking where your title of husband has been stripped away and replaced with the role of security guard for a woman who is actively smuggling a stranger into your life. She didn't just drift away, she created a tactical environment of confusion that forces you to question your own eyes. You're the victim of the gaslight inversion. While you're piecing together the timeline of her lies, she's busy telling you that your jealousy is the real problem. Behavioral observations show that when a woman begins to cheat, she creates a psychological crime scene and waits for you to find the first clue so she can blame you for looking. Today, we are exposing why you were forced into this role and how the detective phase is actually a trap designed to keep you from seeing your own value. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're choosing to stay an investigator of her lies instead of the author of your own truth. The most brutal part of feeling like a detective is the moment you realize you're no longer looking for the truth to save the relationship, but you're looking for the truth just to prove to yourself that you haven't lost your mind. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay, like this video, and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong, because after this video, you'll be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead, because we are just getting started. We have to look at the mechanics of the domestic investigator. You see, brothers, a man in a healthy relationship operates with a wide frame. He's looking at the horizon, his goals, and his mission. But when the betrayal starts, his frame narrows. He becomes hyper-focused on the smallest details, the way she tilted her phone, the extra 30 minutes she spent at the store, the new password she never told him about. Behavioral patterns show that this is the surveillance shift. You are the victim of resource misallocation. The energy you should be using to build your empire is being siphoned off to monitor a woman who is actively devaluing you. You think you're just protecting the marriage, but you're actually experiencing cognitive enslavement. Your brain is being hijacked by the search for evidence. This leads us to the digital crime scene. You find yourself scrolling through social media followers at 3 a.m. You're checking the trash folder in her email. You are being neurologically burned out by a person who is supposed to be your safe harbor. You are being psychologically liquidated by a woman who is using your desire for honesty to make you feel like a control freak. The most dangerous part of this stage is the weaponized defense. When you finally bring up a discrepancy, like a receipt that doesn't match her story, she doesn't explain the receipt, she attacks your lack of trust. She makes the investigation the crime, rather than the infidelity itself. Behavioral observations suggest that this is a diversionary tactic designed to make you back down. You are the victim of the moral mirror. She wants you to look in the mirror and see a bad husband so you don't look at her and see a cheater. You are being spiritually gutted by a person who is comfortable using your own shame against you. I want to tell you about a man named Arthur. Arthur was a kind-hearted engineer, a man who believed that data and logic were the only ways to live. He noticed his wife, Sarah, was suddenly going to book club 3 nights a week and coming home with her hair different and her phone turned off. Arthur felt a cold knot in his stomach. He started checking the mileage on her car. He spent his nights staring at the cell phone bill like it was a complex blueprint, matching numbers to names. Arthur was the loser in this story because he stayed in the detective loop for too long. He became obsessed with getting the confession. He found out she was seeing an ex-boyfriend, but instead of walking away, Arthur used the evidence to try and reason with her. He thought if he showed her the logs and the photos, she would have a breakthrough and love him again. He was the victim of the evidence fallacy. Sarah didn't repent, she just became a better criminal. She used Arthur's obsession to tell their families that he was controlling and mentally unstable. Arthur spent 3 years being a spy in his own house, losing his promotion at work and his physical health because he was too busy watching her to watch his own life. He failed because he didn't realize that if you have to be a detective to find the truth in your marriage, the marriage is already a graveyard. He was the victim of the obsessive trap. He ended up with a mountain of evidence and absolutely zero self-respect. You have to recognize the narcissism of the hidden life. When a woman forces you into the role of a detective, she is stealing your peace to fund her excitement. You are the victim of temporal theft. She is taking the years of your life where you should be at your peak and forcing you to spend them in the dark room of suspicion. Behavioral observations show that the longer a man plays the detective, the more his frame shrinks until he is just an appendage of her drama. You are being biologically siphoned by a person who is using your loyalty as her camouflage. The loser's loop is the man who thinks one more proof will make the pain go away. You think that if you just hear her admit it, you can finally move on, but you are the victim of the validation trap. Behavioral patterns suggest that a woman who is comfortable lying to your face is never going to give you the truth you're looking for. You are being psychologically looped into a cycle of discovery, confrontation, and denial. You have to realize that the moment you felt the need to look through her purse, the husband was already executed. You are being drained of your masculine power by playing a game where the only prize is a deeper wound. If you are still waiting for her to confess so you can finally stop being a detective, you are waiting for a train that isn't coming. You need to understand the concept of the silent audit. The man who actually wins in this scenario isn't the one who stays a detective forever. It's the man who realizes that the first red flag was the only evidence he ever really needed. You're the victim of the confirmation loop. You're looking for a smoking gun while she's already reloaded the weapon. You're witnessing a psychological pivot. She didn't accidentally force you to check her phone. She devalued you so much that she stopped caring if you found out. You're the victim of the exposure fear. You think that by knowing the truth, you'll have power, but behavioral observations show that knowledge without action is just a slower way to die inside. Today, we are finishing the blueprint of the sovereign exit. We are looking at the final psychological shifts, the strategic silence, the evidence liquidation, and the return to the alpha frame. I'm going to show you why the day you stop being her detective is the day you finally start being your own king. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're choosing to spend the rest of your life looking for clues in a life that's already been stolen from you. The most powerful thing a man can do when he feels like a detective is to realize that if he has to investigate his wife, he has already lost the husband he used to be, and it's time to find the man he was meant to become. I know men with standards are here. If you value discipline, respect, and strength, subscribe, like, and comment. We have to talk about the sovereignty of the strategic exit. You see, brothers, once you find the first clue, the marriage is over. The only thing left is strategy. Behavioral observations suggest that the winner is the man who stops confronting and starts calculating. You are being neurologically rewired the moment you stop asking her why and start asking yourself, how do I leave? You're the victim of emotional lingering until the day you decide that your peace is worth more than her explanation. This leads us to the science of the quiet departure. Most men make the mistake of the big confrontation. They scream, they throw the evidence on the table, and they wait for her to cry. This is a behavioral error. You are giving her the emotional data she needs to manipulate you again. You're the victim of the drama trap. Behavioral patterns show that the most effective way to handle a cheater who has forced you to be a detective is to gather your resources in total silence. You are being psychologically reset. By moving in the shadows, you are taking back the surprise she used against you. I want to tell you about a man named Victor. Victor was a high-level sales executive, a man who understood that data doesn't lie, but people do. He noticed his wife Juliana started keeping her phone face down and changed her gym routine. Victor didn't yell. He didn't ask, "Who is he?" Instead, Victor hired a professional and spent 3 months living like a ghost. He was the quiet Victor. Victor was the winner in this story because he used the detective phase as a transition period. While Juliana thought she was being clever, Victor was busy separating his finances, securing his assets, and finding a new place to live. He gathered the evidence, not to save the marriage, but to secure his future. Victor won because he realized that his value wasn't tied to her truth. On a Tuesday afternoon, while Juliana was at the gym, Victor simply moved his life out. He left a folder on the kitchen table with the evidence and a note that said, "You forced me to be a detective, so I found a new case, my life." Victor won because he didn't give her the satisfaction of a fight. He didn't ask for closure. He realized that her actions were the only closure he needed. Within a year, Victor's business had doubled. He was traveling, he was fit, and he was dating women who didn't make him feel like he was crazy. Juliana tried to call him and explain, but Victor had already deleted the file. He won because he understood that the man who was destroyed by the suspicion was actually just clearing the way for the man who was too powerful to be lied to. He realized that a house with no clues is better than a mansion full of lies. You have to recognize the biological rebirth of the unmoved man. This is a biological fact. When a man stops investigating and starts expanding, his body stops producing anxiety chemicals and starts producing winning chemicals. Your cortisol drops and your clarity returns. You are the victim of biological hijacking as long as you're staring at her text messages. But the moment you turn the camera back on yourself, your dominance returns. Your focus returns. You are being biologically optimized for your next chapter. Her cheating was just the test that proved you were meant for something bigger than a woman who makes you hide in the bathroom to check her call logs. The winner's protocol is about the perimeter of peace. You have to look at your life and realize that your trust is $1 million asset. Why are you wasting it on a person who has already proven they aren't insured? You are the sovereign man. You recognize that knowledge is power, but only if you use it to walk away. You are being hardened for the empire. Healing is the realization that you didn't lose a wife. You terminated a bad contract. You are being reforged. You now know that love is a partnership, not a police investigation. You are the master of your own psychology. You don't need a confession from a liar to know that you deserve a life of total transparency. You are the sovereign man. You are the master of your own future. You don't look back at the crime scene of your past. You look forward at the new horizon you are building with your own strength. So here is the smart question for the Brotherhood today. If you had to choose between finding the truth about her and finding the truth about your own potential as a man, which one are you going to spend the rest of your life investigating? I want to hear from the brothers who stopped the investigation and started the life. How did it feel the day you deleted the evidence folder and realized you were finally free? For the men who are currently staring at the phone bill, be honest. What are you actually hoping to find? Are you looking for a reason to stay or the courage to leave? Let's get the engagement up so we can support the brother who is currently feeling like he's losing his mind. Your words might be the evidence he needs to finally believe in himself again. This channel is for men who are done blaming themselves for other people's choices. If that's you, don't leave as a spectator. Subscribe and stay ahead, because we are just getting started. Support the message, speak in the comments, and stand with the men who choose clarity over confusion. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay cold, stay in your power.